see this racing action at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I can't wait to go to the action tonight. It'll be a fun one. Oh man, let's hope we don't see that during the race, but. Yeah, and it's fitting that we're on Indianapolis Motor Speedway for this fast track. The same week that IndyCar announced they're officially returning to iRacing. So the Indy 500 is going back to iRacing. We got the whole really exciting stuff for the Speedway here. So great way to ring it in. Welcome back, Indy. But it should be a great race, really, really unique. This is something that you're not going to be able to see in real life until later this year. How these next-gen cars drive at this 2.5-mile rounded rectangle. You can see the bottom lane is going to be the dominant lane here. It's very the opportunities to pass are going to be fewer and far between. It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be involving getting people offline, maybe even using a bumper or two. We could see that later on in the race when the situation is higher, but as you can see, the 21 car really loose off the corner here. It's going to be huge to keep that handling of that car locked in as you go into the corner, ease onto the brakes into the entry, and let that car roll through the center of the corner right in that bottom. Don't get too low because you can get to that drainage ditch and kind of set the car out. So this will be really interesting to see how these guys manage the tires and what's going to be the best strategy and positioning on the track for the end of the race here. Really excited to see how this plays out.
I definitely agree, and I agree with the Tyson report. I think on that, I do. This WS Fast Cash Racing product, so it is Fast Cash Racing products kept to title. We did a little bit of interview at Cash. You're also sponsoring the Rugby Series too that we broadcasted last Wednesday. That will be your hopefully your lead broadcaster looking forward to seeing there is on there, but this
Yeah, as Christian mentioned, the Fast Cash Racing Products ARCA Series had their inaugural race at Daytona this Wednesday. Great broadcast put on by Christian and Matthew Prochatsky, my brother's broadcasting debut. It was an excellent, entertaining broadcast. Highly recommend checking that out on the same channel earlier this week. And I will be back in the booth as the main broadcaster for the second race of the ARCA Series at Kansas Speedway this week. So we're really looking forward to that as we head to qualifying, 5 minutes of qualifying, as we follow along with this 2-car here. Andrew White, see what he can do on his first lap out.
I believe that the Cup Series, they finally went back away from qualifying, I believe. Let me make sure. Yeah, we'll go back with Indy White. But for those last couple of races, they were electing to do a group quali. I thought it was very interesting that they were doing that. I mean, I haven't been a part of the league, and I definitely haven't broadcast the league. Before. I think there's an interesting dynamic. It's a little curveball to qualifying for the others, but obviously now Noah. As we right on board with Indy White here.
And you mentioned group qualifying that we were doing until that would be really interesting at a track like this because it's almost wide open. And draft is everything. So it would be a super speedway style with the Gen 6s in the early Gen 6 era. It might be some shenanigans coming out of pit road, trying to get the toe. Everybody's waiting for somebody else to go. But I think obviously this is the shows who really is the fastest around this track, especially at a track like Indy where handling in the corners is so important.
Definitely. And especially with the draft, once again, you can use that draft once again to touch. There's a great wall just like in regular ball time. Advantage of getting that toe down the straight, but if you make a little mistake in the back end, kind of ruin both you guys' laps. So I feel like this, especially for this style of track, this is the way because I maybe a lot of time by just having the finesse. I think from my remembrance, you do downshift going in Q1 and in Q3. A lot of time. I think gain a lot of time if you have the finesse to downshift at the right time, or even downshifting at all. I know there's some drivers that probably don't even realize it. Right coming out the 10th right here. We got a turn 4 coming down this long back stretch to see what kind of time we run to.
Bricks.
That is going to be a 52.67. That's going to be good enough for P2. Kevin Hunsaker right now, your current pole sitter. You see that car pull up after he avoided the rest of his qualifying. But we know Kevin's going to be up there. He's been, a top 2 driver throughout this Cup Series run right here. We're going to go right on board with Cash Culp. Sitting in the pit road, trying to maybe wait out this thing. Maybe just playing the not quality at all. Starting from the back.
Yeah, that's got to be what he's doing. He doesn't have enough time to set a flying lap here if he wants to have any shot. Yeah, so he's probably content just starting in the back and letting the rest of this race play out. You can see Cooper Nash up to second, 600s behind Hunsaker in that 9. We've mentioned Andrew White in third.
I think he will with 45 seconds, but let's see if we can improve on this time.
Yeah, he'll certainly be fine. It looks like he was just taking a really, really easy, nice tires. I mean, he's just setting a flyer here, so we'll see what this 21 car can do. He gets back to the Garter bricks in the front stretch. Just under 30 seconds, 25 seconds. Will make it to the line. Appears to be the last car on the track. Our starting grid will be set for this one. Good enough for P6. Bumps Cash Culp out of the 6th position.
Cash. Like he did run 2 laps, so I think maybe he. But like Elliott Drummond and Brian J. Rose, I think not set a lap time here. But as we get ready to.
three starters for this race. Cash Cope in that 57 car, the sponsor of the series. And it's starting next to him, Elliott Drummond, that 45 Jordan machine. And Ryan J. Rose is designated rounding out your field here. 80 laps today. Will be a long, endurance type race for these drivers. What it takes green this time.
Quite a bit of time here. An hour and 15 minutes that it should take for a race. It'll be a long run here, 80 laps here, but when I know these drivers can do it, and excited to switch the race. These drivers can put on for you fans at home.
Yeah, long race, but buckle up, folks. Indy is back. IndyCar is back. Indianapolis Motor Speedway is back. Pace car taking the field into turn 3. That 9 and 55 machines in the front row.
Off right here. We're gonna hand this race over to Barney here. And we're gonna be
look at that 24 car Hamilton, 3 wide in the turn 1 already. He's gonna make it. They're still 3 wide behind him. Oh, he's loose in the bottom. Yeah, he is really struggling with that 57 car.
Oh, Cash tried to make it 3 wide and really running on that apron right there. He just could not get a handle for that 57 car. And you're going to see him drop back all the way to the back there. But obviously, long race happening. I don't know. But obviously, it's a long race here. And a long race to recover this race. Clear winner out of that start, man. Already jumping a couple spots. Oh, Hamilton's still in that draft room. See what he can do here at Bateau. You see the 3 and the 55 car. Cooper Nash and Diego Rodriguez balanced side by side. Nash is going to fit that position. Movie, a legendary movie for a lot of us.
I do like it, whether it's made famous by the real life person. But it seems like just taking a deep breath and Cash Colt fight it out in front of him.
The fastest driver here. And that's what he's doing right now.
settled into this one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and this is what you're gonna see is all these drivers kind of single filing out, trying to hit their marks right now. Obviously, with 80 laps, and we should get a halfway caution, I believe. Um, we're gonna see these drivers kind of hit their marks, try to stay out here. You see Elliott Drummond actually. I don't know what happened to Noah, but he's fallen back quite a bit here to fourth place since that start. But Elliott Drummond in this 45. Marching his way up to the field, started P7 and up 6 spots since the start of the race here.
Yeah, what an incredible performance so far, 5 laps in here. He flew through the field since the start of the race.
See Kevin up here, started on pole here and still dominating this race, and now up to almost a second and a half lead here, and it's definitely he's definitely gapped the field within, so he's not, so the people behind him are not within that drafting range now. So I think right now he's trying to get locked in, trying to set a pace here, and not have to worry about drivers, having to worry about swerving and stuff through the corners and everything else. And right now, just setting the pace. And right now, as I say, that gap is starting. Now it's actually kind of plainer right now. It's still about 1.3 seconds here. We see Cooper Nash starting to pressure the 45 here for this P2 spot.
Yeah, Hunsaker right now is just thinking consistency over everything else. They're almost out of his toe range. Maybe not if the 45 and the 55 can help each other out drafting on the straightaways, maybe giving a little bit of bumps or something else to help him out with some speed. But the 9 car is just thinking, hey, let me just lock in and set sail, and whatever happens behind me happens.
Definitely agree. But we do have a pretty intense battle right here. All but behind here, we see it. Well, not really a battle, but we see all these cars kind of lined
Yeah,
up
we
together.
do. Side by side. At 24 and 21, they're going to be side by side into one. Who's going to come out of this on top?
Etain driving it in there on the bottom right there, trying to hook that car onto that white line there, and he's gonna make that pass on the 24. I think. Noah's having a little bit of issues with that car. You just see he cannot wrap that bottom the way he wants to. He's starting to lose a bit of speed here. Maybe trying to save a little bit of tire here, but I'm not sure what's going on with that number 24 car. But you see these 3 cars right here, all under a blanket here. You see the 21 diving under Andrew White here, trying to make up some spots here. Trying to drive his way through the field.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. The key to this race is just positioning yourself to protect that bottom groove. Because as you can see, the 21 car might be faster than that too. But if the 2 can put his car and keep it on the bottom, roll the bottom well, he doesn't even have to be faster. There's just no way he can get by. But see, at some point, the 21 is pushing the issue, and the 2 is just like, hey, man, you can have it. It's too early to be battling like this. So he was probably content with giving up that spot. But still, 4 cars all within about a second-ish of each other. Very, very close battling here in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Especially at Indy, where these straights are so long. When you're down there, kind of like fire drafting each other and stuff. When you do that, you slowly feather down, and you're either giving up time or giving away time. The cars in front and behind you. So I definitely agree. Andrew making a smart move. Obviously, not even 10 laps complete here. Giving that spot to the 21. It looks like the 21 who just has a little bit more pace right now, and Andrew just giving way. Maybe Andrew saving his tires. We know he's a very consistent and fast driver, but right now, just not wanting to push his car to some of these other drivers.
And you can see Elliott Drummond in the 45 Jordan machine still keeping the gap at around 1.2, 1.3 seconds behind the 9. Maybe he's pushing to stay up there, but I think he's probably being smart. He probably has a car that can get up there to take the lead. He's just saving his stuff because who knows what's going to happen later on. Maybe the 9 burns up his stuff, gets in an incident, anything can happen, and then he could take advantage.
Definitely. Let's ride on board with Elliott for going down the start finish line. Let's see what he's doing here at Indy.
So, interesting strategy, keeping that car in 5th gear. Not sure what these drivers are thinking, but I would think it would probably be the easier or the more obvious choice to shift it down into 4th if the ratios are there. But keeping it in 5th maybe might be the best. For sure, for fuel saving would be the best option, and maybe saving a little bit of tire too. So you can see he's starting to reel in the 9 a little bit here. Cut that gap by half a second. He's down to 7/10, 7/8 right here. So
Yeah, I would also agree that I think 4th would be the way to go, but like you mentioned before, saving fuel, but it definitely does save that right rear tire. When you do shift down into 4th, it really does burn that thing up, and on the long run, it car does tend to free up a lot. As you see, the 9 car saw him getting loose off that corner there. So I think you're seeing right now, Elliott saving tires better than this 9 car.
I think this is the part of the run where you're going to start seeing some guys really struggle. Some big moments, some big saves are going to happen if you want to keep some spots. You might be thinking, really, 12 laps into this thing, how are these guys struggling already? Well, it's tied for the longest track that we go to, other than Talladega. You know, Daytona and Indy being the same length. And then there's so much more load that's being put on the car as you throw it into these corners. Low banking, very long straightaways, pretty tight 90-degree corners. So this definitely puts a lot more stress on the car than a usual race at a racetrack this distance. But you can see the 45 car is doing a great job of closing that gap. He's got it down another couple tenths to within 5/10, 6/10 of the 9, and he is closing. He's smelling blood in the water in front of him.
Definitely, he's doing a really good job. But not only is he doing a good job, but we saw on that onboard, he's very smooth on the wheel there. He's not really jolting that car around on the corners trying to figure out where that car needs to be. He knows where that car needs to be, and he can get it right there, just right on that bottom line, just right, and not have to worry about it. And I guarantee you, if we ride on board with Kevin, I think from out of the tire wears, I think Kevin might be missing right here. But you see him breaking the draft here. This 45 has caught him to the point that he's also not downshifting, at least not right now. Beats me. I would figure with how the tire wear is that maybe Kevin wasn't, but
you can see the big difference there between the 45 and the 9 is the 9 is really working that car on the exit of the corners. It seems like it's almost begging for him to snap loose, and he's just trying to keep it straight. And he knows that he knows that he's going to be struggling if he's breaking the draft, and he sees that car getting closer and closer in his mirror, 45. And we have lost the 45 on the track.
It's blinked out right now. Hopefully we can get back on there. You know, there's that little bit of threshold where you can come back and iRacing won't kick you from the session, but we're getting to that time right now to where I think he might be having some issues right here when it comes to reconnecting.
Oh my, what a heartbreak for the 45 car. Catching the leader early in this one has an issue, a mechanical issue, if you will. And this 9 car is probably the happiest person in this property right now, saying, man, I had a car closing on me a couple tenths a lap, and now I just have a car 8 seconds back and counting. I could just chill the rest of the way.
Yeah, Kevin definitely trained up to someone that happened, and we see Elliott still out of the session, 1 lap down now, so definitely, I don't know if I presume it was an internet thing. I don't think Elliott would have been pushing that hard if, he knew he wasn't going to be able to make the whole race, but unfortunate. Elliott, obviously, we will get a caution. I think at the halfway we have all season, so long as he could stay, but within probably 3 laps of being, I would say 3 laps is a good margin to stay. I think when you're over 3, especially with how big your Indy is here, I think past 3 it's going to be hard. We are getting confirmation that he did DCD in the chat. That is unfortunate. You're catching the leader. Looks like you have the best car right now at that point, and something out of his control, and obviously a big obstacle for that number 45 now.
And forget tough break. That is the worst break you could have. But we got a pretty close battle here, side by side. Cooper Nash is going to move the 2 out of the way for that 3rd spot. Wow. Pretty aggressive seeing that on lap 17, but he had to do what he thought he had to do. And here comes the 2 back on the inside.
Yeah, you saw Cooper Nash
get tied hard into the wall.
You saw Cooper make that pass, and
he's going to get in the wall again, man. Just way too aggressive and just cooked the right front trying to make that pass. And he could not hold on to it in the second half of that corner.
Yeah, you saw him make the pass there and then just kind of drove it into, what was that, turn 2, and just it did not stick there. And you saw him go up there and slap that outside wall, and then that car definitely is broken in some way. With the new damage model, not hard to. What's going on here?
Wow, he just must just be taking out his frustration on that 24 car. He's going to get in the back of him.
And
my goodness, let's get put the 24 into the wall.
And I think.
Oh my! And Cooper Nash might have just said, "Enough is enough. I'm out of here."
Either Cooper did.
Not before the 24 gets heavy damage on that front. Oh my!
Yeah, either Cooper,
he is gonna have a trip to the hauler after this one's over.
Either Cooper said I had enough, or Noah said he had enough. So either one of the two. And fortunate for Cooper there. I mean, looked like he had a decent run going there, but hit the wall there and kind of took out his frustrations on number 24 car. That's like the 3rd or 4th time Noah has unfortunately gotten involved with, something out of his doing here, and he comes down pit road, probably with a lot of damage on that.
What a horrible break for Noah at 24. Man, that just shows how quickly Indy can crush dreams. I mean, Cooper Nash looking for a podium position early in this one, just misjudges it and cooks the right front straight into the wall, and then frustration boils over after that. You can see the 45 car is still in the pits. Looks like he can't get that car refired. Man, just tale of unfortunate events over and over again for multiple drivers early in this one.
Yeah, definitely. And looks like Cooper Nash coming in here and saying he needed to be wrecked. He was being annoying. So there it is.
Wow. He should tell that to the race officials. That would be that'd be some meeting right there.
And just from that comment alone, I think it was probably Noah who told Cooper, "You were free to go. You aren't you're done for the day." Kind of like how NASCAR does that with other drivers. Like back in the day, Kevin Harvick, right? Wrecked. I think it was Corey Gibbs, wasn't it? And got parked because he said, "Hey, I'm going to go out and wreck him." And I think that's exactly what happened here. Cooper made a mistake, came out here and took out his frustrations on that 24. So fortunate for Noah, and unfortunate for also Cooper. I mean, taking out his anger and stuff, especially on a broadcast. That definitely doesn't look good for the driver.
That's a wild turn of events here. As we see now, we're only left with 5 cars in the lead lap. And that 21 of Hodison is actually catching Kevin Hunsaker in that 9. He's cut the gap in half. He's only 4 seconds and counting behind him. Turns out maybe backing off and saving his stuff is working out for him in the long run.
Yeah, Payne, you know, taking advantage of some of these misfortunes from these other drivers. The 45, you know, having some hardware issues, you call, and Cooper having an incident there. Payne just taking advantage, saving tires right now, and he's really, honestly, catching his 9 car pretty quickly right now. Already has, since I started covering this, he's already gotten it down to what? Almost 2.5 seconds now. I don't know if there's something
Oh
wrong with
man,
his
he's
9
cut another
car.
2 seconds off that gap.
I don't know if
Wow,
there's
what an
something wrong with
incredible
his.
comeback
I
here
don't.
from the 21 car.
I don't know if there's something wrong with his 9 car. It looks like no really any damage on that. But obviously we saw him getting caught by the 45, and now this 21. I mean, already down to a second and a half since we've started covering this now. I mean, he's on pace to catch him within the next lap.
Yeah, I think the 9 has some kind of issue. You could see his average pace is way off, almost 3 seconds off his pace that last time around. He's at minimum got his crew chiefs yelling in his ear, hey, we think a tire might be coming apart, tire's wearing out, or some kind of mechanical issue. He's down on power. Because I can't believe he's just doing this from just saving his stuff alone. He is far slower than the 21 and really the rest of the field here that last time by. Over 3 seconds slower.
You're going to see if Payne make the pass right here. And that's
there it
all
is.
it is. And you see just the speed difference right there, just gapping number 9 car. I tried to go on board to see if maybe see the RPM difference, and it doesn't there doesn't seem to be any cosmetic damage. I just think that number 9 just wore those tires out so much. And here comes Andrew White now, making a pass on P2.
That's an incredible difference in speed. I have to think that the 9 has some kind of issue, and he's just trying to limp it to that lap 40 halfway break. Because there's no way that he's going to have anything for these guys, and he doesn't want to risk causing more damage to his machine. So, 21 in the 2, past the 9 car. Here, 24 laps in at Indy.
Now it's going to be a battle of can Andrew White catch Payne right here? I mean, you see them within the same camera shot, so I don't think Andrew's within drafting range of this number 21 yet, but now it's, can he catch him by that lap 40 caution? Try to get some lap sled here. And now it seems like the number 2 and the 21 right now, unless we can figure out what's going on with Kevin right here, already 4 seconds off the lead now. What's going on with him, but right now it's going to be between this 2 and this 21.
Yeah, another driver that's feeling that long run wear hard right now is Cash Culp. He was almost 2 seconds slower that last lap. I don't know if he has an issue too, but him and Hunsaker as well are just far off the pace compared to the 21 and 2, first and second here.
Yeah, Cash hasn't had the best luck here this season in this number 57 car, but obviously saw him come out there and win that debut race in the ARCA series, so we're hoping he could take that momentum from that win on Wednesday and bring it into here, but right now just cannot get a feel for this car. Hopefully with this lap 40 caution, get that fresh set of tires on there, and hopefully figure out what he needs to do to, pick up the pace a little bit.
That 21 car keeping that gap to Andrew White in the 2 at about a little over 2 seconds. And then there's almost nobody out back. The 9 is 8 seconds and counting back, and Cash Culp in the 57 is 16 seconds back and counting. So it really is just going to come down to the 21 and the 2 and who can save their stuff the best. Who has the best restart after the stage break here. Cash Culp really loose off a 2 as well. Everybody is really struggling out here.
One thing I'm thinking about now is because I know, Kevin is one of the best tire savers in this league. I'm wondering, are they good on fuel through this lap 40? Are they trying to, maybe save some fuel here to make it to this lap 40 caution?
Could be. That wasn't a possibility that I really entertained, but that would make it seem a whole lot more sense for what the 9 car is doing. I mean, no visible damage. Maybe he's just trying to hard save so he can make it to the stage break here and not go a lap down. It'd be an interesting strategy for sure. Interesting mix of strategies at the front of the pack.
Riding on board, it doesn't sound like you can see him. He's like, it sounds like he's going like half throttle. It sounds like he's not pushing the car 100%.
Yeah, he's keeping those RPMs at 75, 7,600. These guys are revving it all the way up to almost 9,000 plus.
You can hear just
seems like.
You can just hear a difference here. You see 85, almost 9K going into turn 1 here, and you see. Yeah, I think this is exactly what's going on. You see Tane.
Yeah.
Clutching in
you called it, Christian.
I mean, it's not something I thought about at first because, you know, I figured they would just try to split these, like the flat 40 in half, maybe go 20-20, maybe 35, something like that. But that's exactly what's going on here. All these drivers trying to play the fuel lottery and who can last the longest right here. That's exactly what's going on here. I mean, I think Cash is the one that gave it away. I mean, you can just hear these cars not, like, you can hear Cash, he is not pushing this car at all, especially in these corners. Dude, it sounds like almost like an EV race here in the corners with these drivers turning off all the cars.
Yeah, we got some Teslas going around Indianapolis Motor Speedway in turns 3 and 4. But Andrew White, same thing. He's backing it off even more than Hunsaker. He's backing it almost 3 seconds off his average pace. And the 21 car is going to have to do the same. Man, this just really changes the complexion of how we expected this race to go. Kind of an incredible turn of events. Now, what are we going to see next?
Exactly. So now it's not.
Car's going to fall out of the sky?
Yeah.
Man.
So it's not really even a race of speed right now. It's a race of strategy. Who can fuel save the best out of these drivers now, and who can push the fastest and be the fastest driver while saving the most fuel efficiently right now. Right now, it looks like Tane's doing the best job. But once again, as Tane saved enough to make it to lap 40, obviously going 10 laps to go to this stage after these drivers crossed the line. 11 to go, my apologies. Well, has Tane saved enough to make it to this lap 40, or is he going to have to, you know, come in here, do a splash and go and give up this track position?
Yeah, we can see a Hunsaker, who we thought was crazy for backing it off that early in the run. He's now over a second faster than his average pace the last 2 laps, so he is now gaining on these guys. He probably says, I'm at my number now. I bit the bullet earlier, and now I'm going to see if I can run up and catch these guys before this stage break.
Yeah, I guarantee that's what they're doing. You can already see a pace in this car now compared to everybody else. You can see that car is moving now compared to like everybody else, because it kind of looked like everybody else was kind of, you can tell when a race car, when a driver is trying to save fuel, because it just doesn't look at speed. You can tell when a car's at speed. I mean it can use that what was it, that infamous Coke 600 when Dale ran out of fuel right on the last lap. Dale right off the bat could tell the car was not accelerating right, and you can tell with these cars when they're saving and not. And now that 9 was pushing, I think he's going back to fuel saving again.
Yeah, he must be right on his number here, because he gained over a second that lap and then lost it all in turns 1 and 2 right here. So now back to 10 seconds behind the 21. Man, I really don't know who's going to come out of this on top. It looked like Hunsaker had the right strategies a couple minutes ago, but maybe he's not quite on his number yet. We're going to have to see who is the most aggressive with their strategy here coming to the stage break.
Diego making a pass on Cash right here. Maybe Diego hit his number, and he's trying to move now, because you can see him gapping this 57 right now. Maybe Diego knew, and that's why he was, I mean, maybe he's been fuel saving this whole time, and now he's going to start going, because you saw him be very, very slow at the start of that race, and we documented that towards the start of that race of him having struggles, you know, keeping up with the pace. Maybe he knew that they'd have to save a little bit to make it. Now you see, I mean, if you look at this gearbox cam, he's already gapped for Nash. I mean, Cash Colt, my apologies, by a big margin. matter of a lap. You can hear him. He's also clutching too. So, I mean, it's going to be a fuel lottery for all these drivers here with like 9 laps to go here in the stage.
That's really interesting that the 21 and the 2, despite all this fuel saving that's been happening throughout the whole field, are still less than 2 seconds away from each other. And I wonder, Christian, if that toe that Andrew White has on the 21 is going to help him at all with that fuel saving, because he's not that far off his rear bumper. And compared to the rest of the field, he's pretty close. So
yeah,
I wonder if that's going to make a difference at the end of this run.
I mean, right now he's dropped back quite a bit this lap, but he was within 2 seconds of that. And I definitely think it's not going to be a huge benefit, but I think it does give him just a little bit of toe that can help him save a little bit of fuel here. But obviously, you see he's dropped back all the way back to almost 3, and I think he thought he was good. One thing I will say is it's super hard to gauge when you're good here, at least on the sim, because iRacing won't tell you, okay, you need a save and you're good. It'll give you like an estimated, this is around how much you have with how much you're saving. So when you get to that mark, a lot of the times drivers think, okay, I'm good, and then they start pushing again, and it goes back under that number because they're going faster than what they have been that last 10, 15 laps here. So it is super hard to gauge whether you're good or not on fuel a lot of the times.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're seeing play out here. You saw Hunsaker, gain a full second in 1 lap and then go all the way back down because he probably said, oh, his number, which he thought was good, changed, and he was 1 lap below the good. So you can see now Hunsaker's got it to about 9 seconds, and White in the 2 is about keeping that gap at around 2.1 seconds. And we're going to be coming to 6 to go. It's a halfway caution. We'll see if these guys can make it. It's now or never time here at Indy.
Definitely great. And one thing I wish we did have in these next gens, we're going to go back on board with the 2 car right here. I wish you could see, the actual gauges here, so you can see, okay, his fuel pressure is going down, like he's probably close to being out, but we can't see that, unfortunately. As the broadcasters, obviously the drivers have all the gauges and stuff lit up and going. All we see is lap time, RPM, gearing, unfortunately. I hope someday in the sim, at least if you're spectating, you can do that. But once again, I don't think we're ever going to get that when it comes to the competitive side, because you have, like, let's say you're doing a league race or even the Coke Series, right? They don't want, spotters in there looking at RPMs and be like, okay, this guy only has, 5.6 fuel pressure or whatever. They're gonna have to pit in the next lap and then, take advantage of everything like that. So honestly, I don't think we're ever gonna see that, but it would be nice for the broadcast to be able to do that.
I think even before all that, the RPMs tell the whole story, really. You could see right away that when Hunsaker was holding it at 7,600 RPM on the straightaways, that something was up. And then we realized maybe he knew something all along that we didn't, which is that these guys were not going to be able to make it on fuel. But Hunsaker now getting passed by the 3 of Rodriguez.
Yeah,
wow. What a comeback Diego's making.
Yeah. I think Diego said it's the 9 out of fuel?
Oh, and they're in the wall in the back. 9 might be having a big issue here.
I think the 9
he may be out of fuel. Or he may be, or he's saving very hard. He slowed down and almost put that car into the wall.
And you can hear it, like he's
right behind him.
Just barely feathering it throughout the corners. Like he's baiting it so slow that he's actually having to. You can hear him breathing in and out of the throttle right here, and he's in trouble, I think, right here. And I'm very concerned for this 21 car. I mean, he's consistently kind of gapped the field here. I'm wondering if he can even make it now. I mean, he's kind of done the polar opposite of what that 9 car did. The 9 car pulled out to a huge lead and then had to, I mean, you see him puttering around right now. I wonder if a team can make it right here. And you see Andrew White starting to close the gap here, down under 2 seconds. He was around 3. Now he's starting to put the pressure on his 21 here.
And the anticipation has just been building this entire run. Since we figured out they might not be good on fuel, we want to see who's going to make it and who's not. And that might come down to the wire when we get to lap 40, which is just 2-3 laps away here. Everybody, Cash Culp way off the pace. Everybody is getting slower and slower and slower because they realize, hey, I might not be able to make it as far as I thought I was.
The Cash Culp 32 seconds behind the pacing. And they're running, I mean, that's almost half a lap down here for Cash. But I'm still interested to see. I mean, Andrew's starting to put the pressure back. Now a second and a half behind, going to 2 to go here. Actually, I think this might be the white. I don't know if they're going to call it at 40 or if they're going to call it at the completion of. But I think this is the white flag lap here for the stage. We'll see if Andrew...
Either way, it's going to be now or never time for that 2-car, Andrew White. If he wants to have any shot at taking this lead, then he has to go now. If he runs out, he runs out. At least there's a caution. Stays on the lead lap. He can rethink the strategy for the next stage, but he's got to go now if he wants to have any shot at this.
Now you got it within a second, and now he's dropped back all the way down to 2 seconds again. Is he out? No, he's not. I mean, he's not out. You could definitely tell. But I think he just knows if he tries to push now, he cannot make it. And so I think if we do get this halfway caution right here, he will lead at this halfway break. I don't think he will get points for this, but kind of a competition caution, you could say.
You can see, I believe Cash Culp had to bring it into the pits here. He was not going to make it on fuel. And Diego as well, possibly? Man, I think they realized, yeah, we're not going to make it. They ended up being 1 lap short.
I don't know if we're going to get a caution or not. And if they're not, I wonder if they were just trying to, they fuel just to split the race in half, right? So I'm wondering if they were just trying to split the race in half, right? Not even worrying about maybe a halfway caution, just trying to split the race perfectly in half and just do a one-stopper for this race. Andrew White,
Well, the 2-car is getting really close. He might make the pass here. He's got it down to a 1/10 of a second. They're almost side by side at the yard of bricks. Oh my.
There is that.
And there's the yellow. There's a 21 hangs on by the skin of his teeth after the hard charge by the 2 at the end of that run. Followed by Hunsaker of the 9, Diego Rodriguez, Cash Culp, and Noah Hamilton, cars that are still on the track. A couple of those cars did end up having to come to pit road early because they ran out of gas. Wow, what a strategy call to stay out and make it all the way those 40 laps for those guys that were able to make it.
Yeah. And it would, I think it would have been a good call for I don't know if Cash and Diego just couldn't make it, but they are laps down now, so they will take the waiver on. If they could have stayed on the lead lap, that would have been a really good strategy call to come down and pit early, but obviously they're going to have to stay out to get those laps back. But luckily can, save fuel under caution here, so that's exactly what I think they're going to try to do. Just going to clutch this car in, turn the car off while we're under yellow here, and try to save as much fuel as they can right now.
Yeah, because of that stage break, this run is definitely going to be easier to make on fuel than the first run, because the first run went from the start of the race all the way to lap 40, and then here we'll go green probably with 36, 37, or 35, 36 laps to go, excuse me. And that's a huge deal at a place like Indy, where instead of those laps being full throttle racing, you're actually going to be able to go 60 miles per hour, pace speed, clutching and saving fuel this whole time. So we should definitely see some more action now that they know that they'll have to save a little bit. they could save as they go, and we'll see some hopefully hard racing towards the end of this finish for the win at Indy. We expect to see everybody come down pit road here, except for the lap cars, who are likely going to take the wave around. Includes Diego and Cash Gold. See what everybody decides to do. Coming onto the front stretch. 21 and the 2 are first to peel off, as is the 57.
Ash is gonna decide to come down, even though he is a lap down, and top off on fuel here, so he will not get the option to wave around the field here. Which makes me think, well, I don't know. Because Diego will get the wave around. Will that make Cash the lucky dog then? I don't know how that would work.
I think it would. Maybe he's banking on another caution to happen. It could happen. You can be aggressive on this restart if they decide, hey, if fuel save later in the run. He's banking on a caution to happen. He just wants to make sure he's good on fuel. Maybe that's his play here. Who knows? You can see, it's going to be a close race off pit road. The 21's going to keep the lead.
And Andy tried to race him off there with that better spot. Better pit box. Almost got him there. But Lane's going to keep that spot. Keep the lead here. And that's going to be huge for Kevin right here. Because like as we said, Kevin having major issues when it came to, it seemed having major issues when it came to having enough fuel to make it here. So that's going to bring this 9 car back up to these front two. And now, you know, with these caution laps, it's allowing everybody, not just those wave around drivers and lap down drivers to save fuel, but it's allowing everybody to, you know, save a couple laps of fuel. You don't have to go 40 laps now yet. When we go green, we'll probably we'll be going 45, 46 laps. And, you know, with how tight fuel is, that extra 4 laps is going to be huge for these drivers.
I think guys like Hunsaker in that 9, he's going to give the 2 car a little bump draft into turn 1. They're just thanking the Lord that caution came out when it did, because they were really struggling. We thought that the 9 car might have been out of fuel at one point. The cars in the back had to pit early. They're like, man, we get a fresh start, a reset. You know what to do now. Figure out our strategy to the end here. Hope for the best. Hopefully it'll be better than the first run that we had.
Front 3 here. I think the Cash and Diego are on the lead lap now, so I do think that here comes Noah getting a lap back, so I think making an exception. Well, I think Noah also did say in the chat that because damage was due to Cooper kind of trying to wreck him out or whatever, that he was going to allow that and they get those laps back. But Cash also on the lead lap now. As well as Diego. We know Diego took the wave. We saw Cash come down pit road, so I wonder if they're just letting everybody come around and get their laps back to try to give everybody a fair advantage to try to race for this win.
Yeah, I think at this point, race control just threw up their hands and said, hey, you guys have been through enough. Let's get everyone back in the lead lap. We'll let you guys all race it out for the win.
Obviously, with only 6 cars on the track now, Cooper, Nash, and Elliott off the track now. Cooper obviously involved with that altercation with the 24, and Elliott just having computer issues or internet issues, some type of issues, not being able to come back on the track, unfortunately. We thought Elliott was in a good spot to potentially be leading this race, but everybody has him. Unfortunately, today was just not a day for Elliott. Lights are still on the pit squad. I believe they should be choosing this time. So this league does have a choose rule. They usually do it right before the start-finish line. So I'm going to see what these drivers decide they want to do here. Really, with the few amount of cars that are left here, I don't really think there's an advantage over choosing which line, um, like there would be with like a 15 plus car field. See that 24 come around. Gotta get another lap back here. There he goes. See a little bit of right front thing. That 24 Raptor car, but get um laps back and hope for caution to give him an opportunity to maybe get as much of that damage fixed as he can. Back to race leader here, Kane. Kane obviously did a good job of maintaining this lead after took it away from the 9 car and maintaining the fuel and maintaining that gap to the lead, keep this lead as we got to this halfway caution.
Yeah, Tane in the 21 did quite literally just barely enough to stay in front of that too, that whole run. Got it down to a 10th, almost side by side at the yard of bricks, but he was able to hold on. And he, credit to his pit crew, was able to hold on through the pit cycle too. Keep that lead. So we'll see what he can do now when he's got a fresh set of tires and a fresh new run. All the way to the end for the win.
Should be for any time now, I believe. That's still on the pace car, so we'll be getting the one to go here. Go around, but honestly, I'm really excited to see what Evan is going to do here. Obviously, I think now, since we've ridden around a couple times, the 21 inside the 2. I think everybody picking the inside line, actually. Wow. Hey. It looks like Noah going back to get his last lap back. Or maybe they were just trying to go low to let Noah by. I'm not sure. Now I think might be time. We'll pick the bottom as well as 21. 9 also picking the bottom, and you're gonna see Cash pick the top here. He's gonna jump what? 3 spots here, take over that P2 spot.
I think at this point, with the way that first run went for Cash, he's just thinking, might as well. I have nothing to lose now. I know I'm not the fastest car in pace, so we'll see here if there's a checkup on the inside. 21 car misses a shift, he can take the lead and maybe be in control of this race.
Definitely agree. Cash needs to do something different to try to at least get some track position. Try to keep it. Now, seeing the struggles he's had throughout the race, trying to keep up with these guys, and I don't know if he. Obviously, it's hard to gauge like how fast really these drivers were, because we didn't know until a little bit later in the race that we had the safe fuel. So maybe some of these drivers just haven't shown what they can do because they ran the safe fuel throughout the whole run. So I think right now this is gonna be the time for these drivers to show what they got. Obviously, we've they have 7, I would say about 6 less laps of fuel now that they've had to burn. So pace car's gonna go off here. We're gonna hand this race back over to Tane. And back over to Barney. And we're gonna be green here again.
Oh, Tane goes right up to the top to block Cash Cole. That leaves the door open for the 2. White on the bottom. He's going to block him too. Wow, really aggressive by the 21. Cash Cole battles back on the outside. He's going to get side by side. Oh my, what a run off the corner there.
Cash is going to have to diamond this corner, and that's exactly what he does. Cash not quite clear of that 21. But if he drives it in here, he might be able to get clear here. See him doing a really good job using that top. Really hard to pass on a top red Indy. Obviously the bottom, as we saw throughout this whole run, that whole last run, the bottom is kind of the preferred lane here. Ash doing a heck of a job. He's going to clear this 21, and he's going to actually drag the 9 with him. And Kevin's going to take the neutral spot here.
The Cash Cole should be thanking that 9 car. And the 9 car got a gift from Cash Cole, too, by getting his toe. And him dragging him with him all the way up to second place, because without the 9 car's help, he would not have got past the 21. That's how hard it is to pass on that outside. You see the top 3 under a blanket here, off the 2 onto the backstretch. 9 ducks low.
We have the 3 spinning back here.
Diego Rodriguez thought he had the right strategy at the first run. Didn't quite pan out for him. Just unfortunate circumstances for him still.
Get this car refired, but a single car spin, kind of out of danger. I don't think that will be a caution here. But we are going to go back, and I think as we watched, we saw Kevin take the lead from Cash. Oh, Cash makes a huge block on that 21.
21 is not going to be happy with that move from Cash Cole. Now he's going to duck to the inside again. Force Cash out of that groove. He's going to slot in behind him. Man, this is some really intense racing. These guys, I mean, now these guys are not worried about fuel at all, it seems. They'll say, oh, we can leave that for the end of the race. There comes to that. We're at 31 to go here, coming to 30 to go. They're bump drafting with the 21 and 2. 21's going to make another go at it. He's going to get it. Cash is just going to let him by.
Cash is going to go. He's loose. What a send by that 57. But because of that looseness, he cannot make a move. But he was going to do that crossover on that 21 and just could not make it stick on that bottom. You're going to see Andrew White dive underneath this 57.
Andrew's going to take that spot at the line. Cash Culp's going to go be all the way back to 4th. After that full send move on the 21, it just did not work out the way he wanted it to.
Now everybody's kind of spread out, kind of doing their own thing. Once again, like we saw that first one, we see Kevin a little under a second lead now. Once again, like this first run, Kevin out there leading early. Let's see if he can keep it, as we see you have a battle for P2 here.
And Tane intelligently just going to give the spot up. No need to be battling that hard this early. Even if fuel's not an issue, you're going to have to be saving your tires for the end of this run if you want to make it all the way to lap 80. These guys are playing it smart right now. See how it is later on, though. I mean, the 9 car of Kevin's already breaking the draft huge at the Yard of Bricks.
Kevin knows how easy it is to catch back up when you have that draft in front here, and breaking that draft early, just trying to mitigate all the advantages this 2 car can get from just sitting back there behind this 9 car.
He's trying not to give these guys any excuse to get close to him this run. He saw what happened last run. He saw that his strategy didn't pan out, so he's trying his best. I don't know if it's going to work, though, because Andrew in that 2 car is still keeping just under a second between him and the 9. And the others are right on his tail.
Yeah, Andrew is still within that drafting range here, and that's why Kevin is trying to break you. You don't see it do it this time, but Andrew's still within that bubble where he can take advantage of just sitting behind that 9 car, save his tires, and kind of sit back there. And now I think Andrew is kind of content with his running right now. He has Tane behind him right now. I think who's also willing to sit back here and kind of work with this 2 car. We know Kevin is fast, and he's going to be fast when fuel is out of the picture. And I think they're willing to kind of, double team Kevin. But they know that Kevin's probably one of the quicker cars here. I think they're willing to work with each other to kind of, take that advantage away from Kevin of being in the lead here.
Yeah, I think after that restart, which we saw a lot of crazy moves and side-by-side battles, and I think cooler heads have prevailed. And the 2 and the 21 realize, hey, if we can just save our stuff and not try to battle each other this early in the run, I mean, we still have over 25 laps to go in this one. They're still right on the tail of the 9 car. You can see they're all within a second of each other now, all within 8/10, the top 3. Like, hey, we don't need to battle each other now. Let's just see if we can get back up to the leader. Don't let him get away.
Exactly. See the top 3 kind of spread out equally here. And once again, see Andrew taking advantage of the draft from the 9, and you see the 21 taking advantage of the draft from the 2. See the blink out by the 21 here. These 3 front runners right here just willing to kind of be where they are now. I think Cash wants to kind of push right here. Losing a little bit of time. I think he got into the wall out of turn 4. Now 2 seconds behind P3 Obtain. I think he wants to try to pitch back up to get within that drafting range again, but now that car once again not driving the way Cash probably wants it to.
Yeah, and it's no wonder why, because you saw that huge slide a number of laps ago when he was trying to pass for 2nd place. That's the danger of being too aggressive early on in these runs. You can try to go for the spot then, but then it's going to end up putting you in a bad spot like this later on, where he's just having to push all out just to have a sniff of that draft. Which is really unfortunate for the 57 car here, with coming to 25 laps to go in this race. They're still under a blanket for the lead. 9, 2, 21 cars at the stripe. 4/10 of a second between the 3 into turn 1.
Once again, I don't think drivers are willing to make a move right now. You see 21 just kind of tucked up underneath the 2 car here. I don't think these 2 are teammates. Obviously, in real life, you see the 21 and the 2 teammates. Penske Wood Brothers Alliance. But I think right now these guys are kind of content. Right? And I don't know if Andrew's going to be content right behind this number 9, though, because you see him try to make a move on the inside here going into turn 3.
I was just about to say, I don't know if it's the 2 and 21 battling so much as the 2 wants a lead from that 9 car. We'll see what happens here coming off of 4. It looks like they're going to have a little bit of a run here. 2 got out that corner pretty good. Let's see what he does. Will he bump draft or will he go for the inside? He's going. The 9 blocks. 2 looks to the outside. He's going to be there. The 9's going to have to give him that outside lane. But Kevin has a preferred lane on the bottom, so he's going to keep the spot for now.
I don't think Andrew's over trying to get this spot now. I think Andrew knows that he might have a little bit of a quicker car right here. So he's going to try to peek to the inside again, but doesn't have to run. But yes, he does. He's going to be side by side.
I think he's going to get there. This is all going to come down to who the 21 helps. The 2's got a little bit of an advantage right now. The 21's still staying behind the 9 at Kevin. This is exactly what the 21 car wants to see, though. He wants to see these guys battle it out, burn their stuff up, and then he can hopefully bring it home later on in this run. He's going to peek underneath the 2, though. He wants some of that action.
Going to see 21 try to make something out of that, but not. He's back in behind and get back there in P3 again. I think he's trying to regenerate another run to get back at this number 9 car again. The 21 underneath the 2 now. Not going to make anything of it. He's going to push that 2 up to the 9. The 2's definitely going to try to look underneath this 9 going into turn 3.
There he goes. He peeks. Thought better of it. Oh, he peeks again. The 2's going to give it to him. He's going to give him the bottom. Wow.
They're going to run off the top. Now it's going to be a drag race going into turn 3 here.
And now this is exactly what the 9 wants to see. He wants to see these guys battling behind him. The 2's going to give him a little push down the straightaway. A little arrow push. It gets pretty crazy going into the corners, and then they all just say, we'll try it again next lap, then single file out again. So
honestly, some great racing by these 3 drivers right here. Racing really clean, racing really, professional right now. Because it's so super easy to just, and as I say that, I think the number 9 kind of got a little push from the 2 car there, but really doing a really good job.
Yeah, announcer's jinx right there. And they are, when we say under a blanket, this is the textbook definition of that right here. I cannot believe how hard they're racing for a one groove track like Indianapolis. This hard and this clean. Impressive stuff by these three.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And
And 21's gonna make it work on the outside. What
wow.
a move by Hodison.
Yeah,
Get around that too.
Now, so
oh my!
Going into turn 1.
He's looking for that lead. He's gonna set it in.
And he's gonna door the 9 a
he's
little
gonna
bit.
He's gonna get a little bit loose after dooring the 9. Oh my goodness! What a battle we're seeing here at the front of this field.
You see the 21 loose. Is he gonna push the 21 up there? He will. He's gonna push the 21 back.
He's gonna help him. He's gonna try to get him back up so he can get a side by side again. He's gonna try it. 9's gonna keep this into turn 3 for now. They're setting up for a run off of 4 though. We could feel it.
Just wrapping that white line as you see the 9 kind of taking a different approach, trying to almost kind of arc the corner. But you're going to see that 2 car once again push the 21, trying to get him back up there. Oh, we're going to see a little bit of a block by the 9 going into turn 1.
Yeah, if it wasn't obvious before, it's obvious now that the 21 and the 2 are teaming up to do anything they can to force that 9 out of the lead. The 21's peaking low. Not gonna happen though. 9's gonna get the run off the high side.
He's once again gonna help this Ford teammate, I guess if you want to call it that, and they're gonna push that 21 down the straight one more time. And you see the 21 kind of sending it in, trying to almost intimidate that 9 to give him the room there, but Kevin not having any of that. He's still gonna pinch him down there. And, oh my lord! They're gonna be side by side going down here once again.
Who is the 2 gonna help? He's gonna help the 21! Here they come, side by side. The 21's gonna lead that lap into turn 1. Can he clear the 9?
The 9's gonna go down there and pinch him. Oh, what a send by the 9 to keep it up. And the 21's cannot complete his pass on this 9 car right now.
That is incredible. What a send on the outside lane. Are you kidding me?
Except
these guys are making moves I didn't think was possible. And then the 21 goes back to the inside. Oh my goodness, what a battle. I don't think anybody would have expected seeing this at Indy.
I mean, this is some of the best racing I've seen out of these Cup drivers. Once again, it's even more impressive because of, you know, Indy's demeanor of having this one lane of the bottom, and they're making every lane work, the top, the middle, the bottom, and I mean, these 2 Fords working with each other to try to get around this 9 car. And now I feel like these 2, the 21 and the 2 are starting to get a little bit frustrated. It's like, what do I have to do to get around this 9 car?
Exactly what I was about to say. They're just getting frustrated as we're trying everything. This 9 car can hold the bottom. As we see a car up on the wall, he's going to stay out of the leader's way. We're going to stay green. The 9 car can work his car anywhere, the top, the bottom. And with Indy being a bottom groove track, they're like, what do I have to do to get around this guy? Just incredible stuff from Kevin and the 9.
I think Kevin's starting to get a little free on exit though, and you saw him go down and block that 21. The 21, I think, is starting to catch and observe some of the weaknesses of this Kevin right here. You saw now 2 laps in a row, Kevin get that car upset going out of turn 2 and having to make that kind of block on the 21 to keep this lead here. It's still not. None of these drivers are out of it here, and you're going to see the 21 try to outside here.
Just trying to give Kevin a taste of his own medicine there, but it's not going to work. He's not going to let that happen. 21's just getting out of the groove. That's letting the 2 track to his inside. Now they're going to link up again and see if they can get a run off of 4, most likely. I can't imagine the frustration almost must be boiling over inside those cockpits right now.
Yeah, even for Kevin, you know, there's got to be some type of frustration because they're like, why won't these guys have to give up one of these times and just kind of be willing to ride it out? You got to think, you know, I think they're good on fuel now, but they're also tearing their tires up a lot. Battling is hard, and these guys are going to start to drive pretty bad when they do that point of their run where the tire wear is definitely going to start to feel. and start to affect the way these cars drive. You see the 9 get a little upset off the apron right there. The 21's gonna go underneath.
21's gonna give him the bumper in 2. He said enough's enough. I can't get around you any other way. We're gonna use the chrome horn. 21 to the lead on the backstretch. He's bringing the 2 with him.
Oh, the 2's in the wall.
The 2 gets tied hard into the wall in 3. Oh my. Him abusing that right front finally caught up to him. Wow. After all that, he accomplished his goal, getting his Ford Ally teammates to the lead, but man, that came at a price. This likely will take him out of this thing.
I'm interested to see because this kind of all went down as the 21 blinked out here. No, I think the 2 just honestly just misjudged the corner and.
Wow. So the 9 blink out for a split second as well. That might have spooked the 2, and he just locked out the left front hard into the wall. Man, they were running such a hard and clean race up there, and now it's just going to be down to the 21 of the 9. Indy strikes again.
I think now with these 2, it's just a two-car tango right now. I think that now they're going to be very fine. Kind of running laps right now. I don't know, actually. You see Kane trying to, in a way, block the draft here. I think this 9 car wants this lead back.
I think they're probably realizing now that it's just the 2 of them and that the intensity has gone down massively. So, as we see, the 21, he's getting tied up into the wall. The 9's going to give him the bumper just like the 21 gave him a couple laps ago. Wow, just as I was about to say, the intensity kind of dying down, and they might be content to just ride out these last couple laps till the finish. That could not be further from the case now.
I ever start to go on the 21, not complete the corner and out of turn 2 and out of turn 4. Allowing this 9 car to put around on the long straight. I think he's a little bit better on the turn 1 and in the turn 1 and 3. Out of turn 2 and 4, you see not. Even out of here, you see that car starting.
He's going to go for the pass by bottom lane, and the 21 is going to give it to him. I think that he realizes the writing on the wall. He can't be blocking there that much longer. But he's getting a little bit of a run now on the backstretch.
With all that battling, you see Andrew White actually doing a pretty decent job catching back up to these guys.
No way. Can you believe if he catches back up to them, we get a repeat of what we just saw? No way.
He's about a second and a half behind Tane right now. And probably can get a little sniff of this draft. And I think Tane, honestly, he's starting to struggle and starting to fall off from this 9 car. So
this one we think we've seen it all. If Andrew White in that 2 car can catch up to these guys again, we can see a battle on old destroyed tires for the win. Man, this might be finish of the year coming up. Stay tuned, folks.
Andrew has this down to 1.1. That's to the leader, not the P2, but to the leader.
He's got him. He's in their draft. He's got the 21's draft. Oh my goodness. He is back in this race.
9 tenths now.
He is back in this race after
7/10.
going hard into the wall. Just must have been 5 or so laps ago. He is back right to the 21's bumper.
Unbelievable. This Tane fighting this 2 car. I mean, he was what, forced? No, he's not. 2 car is found something. Lightning in a bottle here. We have to try to take advantage of this.
2 cars out for blood right now. Not only was he so frustrated that he couldn't get the 21 past the 9, but when he finally did, he made a mistake that he thought almost would have costed him the race. Now he's not going to make that same mistake again a second time.
He's going to push that 21 once again.
Full advantage of his second chance. He's going to duck below 21. 21's going to give him the spot here. This is incredible stuff. Can he take it to the 9? Complete this comeback. Coming to 10 laps to go here for Indy. We're gearing up for an incredible finish coming up in just a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean that's hats off to that 2 car. I mean, he was 3 seconds behind when he made contact with that wall. Now you see him right here battling for a win once again. And with just one little mistake out of that 9 car, he's gonna definitely be taking advantage. We do see, I think, in the chat from Noah saying that he doesn't think that Andrew can make it. So we'll see if he can complete this comeback. We have some haters in chat, but we'll see if Andrew can complete the comeback arc right here. But you see Andrew starting to fall off here a little bit.
Well, if Andrew pushed all that way just to be not good on fuel, then what does that mean for the 21? Is he pushed right now to get by him? Maybe thinking that he's not good on fuel and that he could take advantage of the situation, take his draft, and then see if he can get a run back up to the 9. I don't really know what these guys are thinking right now. I mean, there's so many ways that this could go. This could play out.
Saw Andrew started up to the front of that field, and then after that, he kind of plateaued off now. Half a second behind the 9 car now. Maybe if Noah is right, I think maybe Andrew is purposely sitting back here trying to, fit in the draft of this 9 car, try to save a little bit of fuel here.
We come back on this front stretch now, 8 laps to go.
Still
a half a second. Latane is coming to the pits. Oh my goodness, he will not make it to the end on fuel. Oh my. After it seemed like the 21 had the race in the bag, after finally getting past the 9, he is out of fuel and will not be in contention for this win.
Now we gotta think, can either of these two make it, right? I mean, I feel like the 9 has pushed the hardest trying to keep this lead, right? Does Kevin have enough fuel? And yet, does Andrew have enough? We saw Noah talk about that he didn't think Andrew had enough, but does Kevin have enough to make it?
And we're getting information from the crews now that they're both saving very hard right now. Both the 9 car and the 2 car. So this may come down to one of those classic fuel mileage finishes. Dale Jr. or Kevin Harvick over Dale Jr. at the Coke 600. Mark Martin over Greg Biffle and Jimmy Johnson at Michigan. We could see a repeat of any of those and write another chapter in the history books of Indy's storied history right here. To go on the backstretch with 7 laps to go, coming to 6 laps to go. And Kevin is only increasing that lead. You have to think that Kevin knows something that we don't, that he can make it on fuel now. Because Andrew has to push hard if he wants to have any shot at this thing.
We're seeing Andrew, you can definitely tell he's trying to save something. And I don't think Kevin, is trying to save. I don't really hear it in the engine at all of any type of trying to save anything. It sounds like he's at full speed, so we're running 53. He ran at 53.7. Andrew ran at 55.5 basically. So
yeah, and we're hearing now from the 2 car crew that they don't think that they can make it on fuel, but they're trying their best to stretch it as far as they can. But they are not confident that they can make it past this 9 car for the win. Man, what a roller coaster of a race here at Indy. Every car, it seemed at one point, had a wrong strategy, then maybe the right strategy, and maybe the winning strategy, had a little bit of luck, a little bit of bad luck, a lot of bad luck. And then at the end, it's still going to be that 9 car that's been out front and bring this thing home here. If he could just make it last 5 more laps here at Indy.
Now, something I want to look at is if Kevin cannot make it, look who's back here in 3rd place. 30 seconds behind here. Probably saving fuel. I don't know. Obviously, he hasn't been probably been driving well, but if these two cannot make it, maybe this 57 come out here and clutch it up here to get his first cup win here at Indy.
Man, wouldn't that be something after winning the inaugural ARCA race on Wednesday at Daytona and followed up with a fuel mileage win at Indianapolis, two of the biggest racetracks in the world in the same week? A storybook ending that would be, but he is struggling hard in these corners. I don't think he's going to be able to make it, even if they do run out of fuel. I think the gap's just almost insurmountable at this point.
Especially because if like Kevin, if he knows he's not gonna make the splash and go, that's what. No, of course you're gonna lose time going down pit road, exiting pit road, but that's what like a 8-10 second stop. So I mean, Cash would have to be all in to make up that time. With, now 31 seconds behind Kevin here. And now for Andrew, it's kind of emergency, right? Emergency fallout mode. It's like I'm gonna have to just do what I can to even just finish the race. You can't even think about trying to even go back there and catch up that 9 car. If I talked about with team communications, they don't even know if they're gonna make it, right? So now for Andrew, it's just trying to survive and finish his race in his P2 spot. Obviously, P2 is still really good for points. Obviously, you always want to go out there and race for the win, but right now, survival.
Yeah, when we take a look back at this battle for P3, Tane, after pitting for a splash and go, is within 3 seconds of Cash Culp for this 3rd spot. So he could still end up getting this podium position. He's going to catch him.
Well, 3 to go here. He's already down within a second. I think he got fresh tires while he was down there. But what you have to lose, right? You're going to pay it. Might as well come out there. Fresh tires. The fastest car for the last car. I tried to do anything you can from behind here, but I'm going to blow the doors off the rain here.
Cash is going to try to do all he can, but he just has nothing left in those Goodyear tires. Up into the outside wall. Tane in the 21 retakes the 3rd spot. Cash is going to go for a little slide in the grass. And he's going to loop it around in front of the pit entry. We should stay green. It's out of the way of the leaders. But a fortunate end to Cash Culp's race.
It's actually going to be in front of your leader right here. Let's see if he lets this leader go. If he's going to maybe try to stay on the lead lap here. We're on the last lap for the 9 car here. Let's see. I mean, he does have that. I mean, now this lap car of Cash Culp here, will he catch Cash in time to potentially give him an issue here?
I think right now he's thinking, oh, this is good. I can have a little bit of that draft. It'll make it a little bit easier to stretch this fuel out the rest of this way. As you can see now, less than half a lap away from victory. Turns 3 and setting up for turn 4. And I believe he's going to do it. Nino Hunsaker, after all the carnage, all the drama at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, he's going to get it done right here. Kiss that yard of bricks.
There it is. Those bricks right there. He's going to be... I mean, it's so nice to win at Indy, right? And you're going to see Hoosier come here P2. But Indy's one of the most prestigious racetracks in the world, and it's super hard, especially in this sort of manner, saving fuel, doing everything he can. We see Andrew able to make it on fuel here early. You see him just coasting it around now, trying to get it back to pit road, but such a heartbreak for Andrew. We thought he might have had something, but was not good on fuel. Had to back it off, and gonna come home P2 here.
It's an incredible run for Andrew, though. Just incredible comeback after getting in the wall and struggling to pass the 9 car in the 21 for so long, thinking that his crew thinking he might not be able to even make the end of the race on gas. And you can see now engine has finally expired on him. That backstretch.
I mean, he was.
And the 21 car is going to give him a nice forward teammate push back to his pit stall. Much
There you go.
like much like Lightning McQueen in cars. Diego's gonna come and help him out with the same thing. But man, what a action-packed, drama-filled, battle-filled race here as Kevin's gonna burn it down at the Yard of Bricks here at Indy.
Watch this out. We were busy watching Andrew help here. Let's while we wait on watch these burnouts going out. Let's go ahead and see if we can talk to your podium finishers here at Indy. We'll go ahead and talk to your third place finisher of Tane Hodgson. Hey Tane, it's Christian and Jeff in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
So it came home P3. Obviously we saw you make the call to come down, and I guess you knew you couldn't make it on fuel come down, and were able to catch back up the cash and make that pass for P3. But just walk us through your race and walk us through that finish.
Yeah, I came into the race feeling good because this is like one of the first tracks I've actually done a NASCAR race on that we've raced on so far. And yeah, I thought it was going to go well, and then I tried the setup, and it was redlining with no draft before the start finish line, so I thought this would be interesting. And then I noticed the 7/10 gap in practice to Andrew, and had no idea it had to close that. But like the last few races, somehow I gained like half a second in the race compared to any other laps I've ever done, and I'm competitive for the win, which is fun. Uh, and unfortunately, I forgot to turn the auto fuel from my overlay off and turn the one on iRacing on. So my overlay didn't have the data to give me enough fuel, and it underfueled me by like 5 laps. So I just decided to pit early.
Yeah, that tends to happen when you have the iRacing auto fuel on, because it tends to not be correct. But walk us through, that at the start of after that halfway caution, walk us through the battling with between you and Andrew and Kevin. What was that like?
Oh, that was just pure fun. I realized right after I got out of my pit box that the overlay had put too little fuel in, so I was just trying to full send it, and uh, it was pretty. I think Andrew figured out that I was faster, and Kevin obviously was leading, so there was no reason for him to let me by. So that's where the battle really started, and I think Andrew tried to help me out a little, but the top line seemed better for keeping the lead for Kevin, so it was pretty fun.
It was definitely a blast to watch you three, battle it out there. But any questions for Kane, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that that battle with the 9 and the 2 was fun for you, Tank, because it was absolutely a blast for us to watch up here in the booth. I'm just wondering what was going through your head when you're getting help from the 2 from behind, but we were just thinking like, man, Tane has to be probably thinking right now, like, what do I have to do to get past this 9 car? Because he could run the bottom, he could run the top and protect his lane. What were you thinking through all that?
I was thinking I got to get up high somehow on the exits, and Kevin had it pretty well covered. And I don't know if you guys saw, but one of the times I tried one of the first times I tried it, I misjudged where to let off and brake, and I might have tapped the wall a slight amount. Uh, but other than that, it was pretty good, and I got a few runs at the top to test it. And I have no clue where I actually passed him. I think I passed him on the bottom, but I got him eventually, and I wanted to pull away. It didn't happen, and then I had to pit. So, but it was very fun. They were very fair as well.
Yeah, it was great racing, clean racing, which is at Indy, it's very, very difficult to do with it being a one group track. But heartbreak for you at the end, but it was amazing seeing you guys battle it out for the win. And congrats on the P3 finish.
Thank you.
That was your P3 finisher of Tane right there, and Jeff kind of put it together. That was such a blast to watch that battle go down. Obviously, I mean, we're jumping up in our seats up here watching the tens and everything else, but as we know, Andrew does not have a working mic, so we are gonna just go ahead and he is in the chat. I do not see him. I thought I saw Kevin up in Discord, but we'll wait a couple minutes. But while we wait on him to potentially come up here, we're gonna go through and look at your race results here. Obviously, we know Kevin, your winner here. Andrew uh, almost made the Cinderella story happen and come up and take that one away. But Andrew coming up P2. I don't know why it says everybody's out on official results, but Payne P3, as we just talked to, Cash Culp P4, Diego P5, and Jeff around us out for the.
Yeah, truly a race of attrition with Noah Hamilton, Elliott Drummond, Cooper Nash, and Ryan Rose all not finishing this race. Just an absolute hard fought battle all the way through these 80 laps. And just props to the top three. I mean, the podium finishers, just what an excellent job, an excellent show of racecraft and sportsmanship through and through this one here at Indy.
I definitely agree, and now, especially for unfortunately the low car count we had tonight out Indy, it was such a blast and it was such a surprise to see such good racing between just like those three podium finishers battling out for that win there. And it was also very surprising and honestly, Tane, I really do applaud you and thank you for you were kind of out of the race but still decided to race those two really hard and put on a show for the fans at home. But I do not see Kevin in the Discord, so I think he's gonna opt to not get an interview for tonight. But still, an amazing race by him, and congrats to Kevin, winning his upteenth race here in the Fast Cash Racing Products Cup Series. As we said in the pre-show, one of the I would say the guy to beat day in and day out here in this Cup Series, but um yeah, Jeff, what a race and what an exciting battling. But uh, we wish that it didn't go down to fuel mileage. I wish we could have seen, that great battling all the way down to the final lap. But unfortunately, the fuel monster came in a bit, especially Andrew in the rear end there at the end.
Yeah, it was really interesting and really refreshing too to see. This was really truly an almost IndyCar style kind of race here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You know, fuel mileage throughout most of the race. The draft was very important, and the incredible battling towards the second half of the race for the lead. Just everything that you could want and more from a race at this historic racetrack. And I'm so glad that we were able to see and enjoy it all from up here in the broadcast booth. Um, Hopefully we get this level of entertainment in the Fast Catch Racing Products ARCA series, which is going to Kansas Speedway this Wednesday, same time on twitch.tv/Jeff We Trust this time. I'll be up there in the booth and making my head broadcasting debut. So we hope to see everybody there for that. And we hope that the racing is a fraction of as entertaining and as clean and as hard as it was here at Indy. So looking forward to that. And thank you so much, everybody, for being here.
Guys, Tane Hodgson, Andrew White, Kevin Hunsaker, your top three at Indy here today. And once again, we got a shout out. Thank you, Cash. Thank you for the Fast Cash Racing Products for sponsoring the league. Thank you, Noah, for putting on such a great league, and thank you for the fans at home for coming out here and typing in chat and being active, cheering on your favorite drivers. I really love to read the chat as we're broadcasting and see you guys interacting in chat. But besides that, guys, from me and Jeff up here, for High Velocity TV. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday night, and we hope to see you on Wednesday over on Jeff's channel, as he said, at twitch.tv/Injustice Trust. Jeff making his debut over main broadcaster for High Velocity TV. But besides that, I'm Christian Delgado and Jeff Perchatsky for High Velocity TV. We'll see you guys soon. Hope you guys have a great rest of the night, and we'll see you guys soon.